Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. Welcome to Mathematics with Shahab Yaqub. So we are studying coordinate geometry, and in coordinate geometry, this will be the fourth class. Okay. So in the first class, we got started with the idea of the syllabus, something about coordinate geometry. We talked about the distance formula, distance between 2 points. That is the same thing as the length of the line segment. We talked about midpoint, gradient, rise over run, parallel lines, same slope, perpendicular lines, slope multiplied to give you -1. Equation of a line, y is equals to mx plus c. Line meets x-axis, y coordinate is 0. Line meets y-axis, x coordinate is 0. Some sketches, and then some basic kind of questions. And then drawing a perpendicular, touching the line, finding the coordinates of the point of intersection, simultaneous equations. Shortest distance from origin to the line AB, that is this distance. So this is the shortest distance. That is always a perpendicular distance. Then some alternative way. That finished the first lecture. Second lecture, that was about simultaneous equation. One linear, other is non-linear. We talked about some graphs. We talked about the importance of taking common. Substitution is the way. Middle term factorization is used a lot. Equation of a new line, equation of a straight line, the new format. And then writing in a particular form as requested by the examiner. Then this particular question, that was from the past paper. Lecture number 3, that was about parallelogram. Opposite sides are parallel as well as equal in length. This is a parallelogram. Distance, gradient, distance, gradient. There is a special property, midpoint of diagonals is the same for any parallelogram, whether it's parallelogram, square, rhombus, and rectangle, they all are considered parallelogram. We talked about this figure. We calculated the midpoints. Check whether all sides are of equal length or not. The sides are not of equal length. Exam type question, given that ABCD is a parallelogram, find the coordinates of B. So if they have written a name A, B, C, D, then the first and the third alphabet, that would be a diagonal. The second and the fourth alphabet, that would be a diagonal. The average of the x coordinates should be the same. The average of the y coordinates should be the same. So that is another way of talking about midpoint. This thing is done. Prove that ABCD is a rhombus. So a rhombus is a parallelogram. What I have done is that I have calculated the length of AB, the length of BC. If the adjacent sides are equal, it could be a rhombus, it could be a square. Proven adjacent sides are equal in length. Now prove that the diagonals have a common midpoint, so it's a parallelogram. So I have proved it. I can start with this, prove that the diagonals have a common midpoint, and then if the sides are of equal length, it's a rhombus because the diagram is already given. And then it's not a square. ABCD is actually a rhombus. Special property of square and rhombus, that is, the diagonals are perpendicular to one another. It's only true for rhombus and square. Then we did this past paper question, a nice question. And that is where lecture number 3 ended. So now let's start with lecture number 4. So lecture number 4 of coordinate geometry. So this is lecture 4. CG stands for coordinate geometry. This is pure math, paper 1 of the 9709 CAIE syllabus. And this is a P1 paper. Okay, so this is lecture number 4. So now let me introduce something else. Let me draw a triangle. So if I draw a grid, and on this grid, if I draw a triangle, a simple right angle triangle. So let me mark the points. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, 5, 6, 7, something like this. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let me mark the point 1, comma 1. Let me mark the point 4, comma 1. Let me mark the point. This is 3 units, so 4, comma 5. And let me join it with short line segments. Just a rough diagram. And we know that the base is 3 units. From 1 till 4, that is 3 units. From this 1 till 5, that's 4 units. Height is 4 units. It's a right angle triangle. So therefore, the area of this triangle is half into 3 into 4. That comes out to be 6 units square or square units. A very simple thing. Now let me label this thing as A, this thing as B, this thing as C. The coordinate of A is 1, 1. The coordinate of A is 1, 1. The coordinate of B is 4, 1. Coordinate of B is 4, 1, and this is 4, 5. And C is 4, 5. Now let me just copy this thing. And let's take it on the next page. And let me introduce you a new formula. So the new formula is this: area of triangle, that is half. And let me draw a matrix kind of a thing. And let me write the first coordinate, which is 1, 1. So this is X, this is Y. This is X, this is Y. This is X, this is Y. And the first point is written last. So this is A, this is B, this is C, this is A again. We know that these are the X coordinates. Let me highlight it. So this is X, X, X coordinate. That is X, X, X coordinate. And these are the Y coordinates. That is 1, 1, 5. That is 1, 1, 5. The first one written again. So the first one, whichever one we start with, we write it again. Now there is a particular order of multiplication. We multiply in this direction. So therefore, let me multiply it out. The half is still waiting on the outside. Let me draw a big bracket, minus sign, then another bracket, and then close this bracket. So this is 1 into 1. This is 4 into 5. This is 4 into 1. That's how I have labeled it. Let me multiply in this direction like this, and like this. So that's 4 into 1. This is 4 into 1. That is 1 into 5. So we would multiply in this direction and add it up. We would multiply in this direction and add it up. And there is a negative sign in the middle. There is a half over here. Now let me evaluate. This is 1. This is 20. This is 4. So 25. This one is 4. This is 4. This is 5. 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 plus 5 is 30. There is a negative sign over here. There is a negative sign over here. And the blue bracket over here, that's like this. So now this big bracket, half over here. Again, it's half over here, big bracket. 25 minus 13 is 12. Half into 12, that comes out to be 6 square units. So now that is how the formula is used. Of course, it was much easier to use it directly, but what if the diagram is not so good? What if you cannot pinpoint the height and the base? So this is the formula that we use. So what is this formula? This is called Heron's formula, and this is called matrix method and all this thing. So if there is a triangle whose coordinates are x1, y1, other coordinates is x2, y2, the third coordinate is x3, y3. And let me also copy this down because I'll be using it on the next page also. So now over here, if I use it for area of a triangle and start from any point and go anti-clockwise, ACW, that is anti-clockwise. So this is how the formula is written. So therefore, the area of triangle, that is half. And let me write over here. Excuse me. That is half over here. So we can start with any point. This is A, this is B, this is C, this is A, this is X1, Y1, X2, Y2, X3, Y3, X1, Y1, and we would multiply in this manner, like this. We would multiply in this manner, like this. So this would be half the first bracket minus the second bracket and close the bracket. So this multiplication is done like this, plus sign, plus sign. This multiplication is done like this, plus sign, and you evaluate, you get the answer. The worked example is already over here. That was writing in the symbolic form. Similarly, you can use it for area of a quadrilateral. It doesn't make a difference. It's a trapezium or kite or any kind of parallelogram. It doesn't make a difference. So A, B, C, D, this is X4 and this is Y4. So now over here, still there is a half area of a quadrilateral that is equals to half. And then over here, you have this thing. And then again, I'll be having half first bracket minus the second bracket. So now this is just writing symbolically. So this can be A, B, C, D, A. This is X1, Y1, X2, Y2, X3, Y3, X4, Y4, and then again X1, Y1. You can start with any point and go anti-clockwise. Start with any point and go anti-clockwise. What if you go clockwise? Clockwise, the answer will come out to be negative, not a big issue. Discard negative sign. But of course, it has to be in an order. So now let's multiply it out like this, like this, like this, like this. So there would be 4 arrows like this with plus signs in between. There will be 4 arrows like this with plus sign in between. Evaluate it and you get this answer. This half is still there. This half has nothing to do with base into height. This thing is done. So now what I can do is that this thing over here, let me just copy this thing, this rhombus. And if I copy this and I ask you to find the area, will you be able to find the area? I think that's not that big of a deal. So let me paste it over here so you can practice this thing. And then we can carry on with the rest of the thing. Let me just remove this thing. So there is A, there is B, there is C, there is D. And let me simply write it down. Area of this quadrilateral, that is half. Let me start with A, B, C, D. It's already anti-clockwise. So this is half. And this thing is like this. And let me write over here. This is A, which is negative 8 and 0. This is 2 and 10. This is 16 and 12. And this is 6 and 2. It's also Azan. And in the meanwhile, you people can copy it and try it out. This is A, B, C, D, A. Let me give you the idea. That's like this, like this, like this, like this. And then over here, like this, like this, like this, and like this, and copy everything and find out this particular area. Let me pause the recording. So now, people, let's continue the journey. I hope you have already found the area of this rhombus. Let me help you out. So now, first of all, the area equals to this thing, and half is still there on the outside. And then let's focus on the red things. Negative 8 into 10, that is negative 80. 2 into 12, that is positive 24. 16 into 2, that is positive 32. 6 into 0 is 0, close the brackets. Let me focus on the blue thing. 2 into 0 is 0. 16 into 10 is 160. 6 into 12, that is 72. And negative 8 into 2 is negative 16. Let me close the bracket. Don't forget there is a negative sign over here. So now let me evaluate this thing. And over here, this is 32 plus 24 minus 80. So calculator, 32 plus 24 minus 80, that comes out to be negative 24. That is over here. Minus 160 plus 72 minus 16. 160 plus 72 minus 16, that comes out to be 216. So 216 and 24, it will be added together. That's 240. So half of 240, that comes out to be negative 120 square units. Just ignore the negative sign, discard it, and that is the answer. So this thing is done. Now, from the new topical book, let me try out some questions. Now, first of all, keep in mind, on the website, there are topical books, and they are also very important. And they are from 2001 till, I think, 2017 or something. And they are free to access. And of course, download it, view it. I'll be giving some questions from there. When we talk about the new topical book, only the printed copy will be given to you. So the printed copy, that will be available either through your college or through courier or something like that. So you'll be needing a P1, you'll be needing a S1. If someone is doing M1, that person will be needing an M1. So that will be the new topical book. So this blue thing, that is the new topical book. That will be coming out in a week's time or so. So now, people, let's look at this question. What it says is this. There are 3 points. The first one is A. That is A over here. The second one is B. That is B over here. The third one is C. Now it says B, the blue one, that is the midpoint of AC. And find the coordinates of C in terms of M and N. M and N are constants. Now, first of all, let me write over here. That is A, which is 2 comma M. And there is C, which is X comma Y. There is B, which is the midpoint. That is N comma negative 6. That is the first piece of information that I have. It says B is the midpoint of AC. That means take the average of 2 and X, it should equal to N. So 2 plus X divided by 2 equals to N. 2 plus X is equals to 2N. Therefore, X is 2N minus 2. Similarly, take the average of M and Y. It should equal to negative 6. Take the average of M and Y, and it should equal to negative 6. M plus Y is negative 6. Therefore, Y is equals to negative 6, negative M. In other words, they're asking the coordinates of C. The coordinate of C is x comma y. The coordinate of C is x comma y. So x is 2n minus 2 and y is negative 6, negative m. Now, let me go to this thing that is finding coordinates. Question number 2. Let me go to the mark scheme. And this is this thing. Coordinate geometry, finding coordinates. Question number 2. That is over here. And let me just paste it over here and also check for any small mistakes or something. Okay, let me just paste it. Okay, I think when I multiplied by 2, I forgot this thing that becomes negative 12. Hold for a second. So this one is 2 into negative 6, negative 12, negative 12, negative m. And let me correct myself over here again. So this is black marker, negative 12, negative m. That is what I'm getting. Let's double check. This is the x coordinate of C. That is 2n minus 2. This is the y coordinate of C. That is negative 12, negative m. So both are good, perfectly right. Now this is for 2 marks. The line passes through C and is perpendicular to AB. So now it says the line y is equals to x plus 1 passes through C. Y is equals to x plus 1 passes through C. Can I say this thing? In other words, C lies on the line y is equals to x plus 1. Yes, it means the same thing. Now, what is the coordinate of C? Let me grab this thing. That is the coordinate of C. And it lies on the line y is equals to x plus 1. That means take the x coordinate and write it over here. So take the x coordinate, write it over here. Take the y coordinate, write it over here. So therefore, negative 12, negative m, that equals to x plus 1. It's over here. And what goes inside the bracket? We write x coordinate inside the bracket, which is 2n minus 2. Let's simplify this first bracket, negative 12, negative m, that is 2n minus 2 plus 1, which is negative 1. And let me take this thing to this side. So 2n plus m is equals to negative 11. That is equation number 1. That is the first one. Then it further says, and is perpendicular to AB. This line is perpendicular to AB. So now we have A, we have B, 2 comma m and n minus 6. So A is 2 comma m, B is n comma negative 6. So this is 2 comma m, n comma negative 6. It's perpendicular to AB. So let me first evaluate gradient of AB. That is m minus minus 6 divided by 2 minus n. That is m plus 6 divided by 2 minus n. AB is perpendicular to y is equals to x plus 1. Gradient of y is equals to x plus 1 is 1. Gradient of AB is over here. Therefore, gradient of AB into gradient of y is equals to x plus 1 should equal to negative 1. Gradient of AB into 1 is equals to negative 1. Therefore, gradient of AB is negative 1. So this thing over here, that is m plus 6 over 2 minus n. That is m plus 6 over 2 minus n is negative 1. M plus 6 is n minus 2. I have multiplied with negative 1. Therefore, m is equals to n minus 8. That is equation number 2. Equation number 1, 2n plus m is equals to this thing. So m is equals to minus 11 minus 2n. M equals to minus 11 minus 2n, minus 11 minus 2n. Now solve it simultaneously. So solve simultaneously. So therefore, n minus 8 is minus 11 minus 2n. N plus 2n, 3n is equals to minus 11 plus 8. 3n is equals to negative 3. Therefore, n comes out to be negative 1. M is equals to n minus 8. That is minus 1 minus 8. That comes out to be negative 9. So final answer, if they are asking for M and N, so final answer is N is negative 1, M is negative 9. Let's hope for the best. And this is negative 9, negative 1. That's how it's done and dusted. So I think let's stop over here. That is lecture number 4 of coordinate geometry, all done and dusted. Sending over the images to you so you can copy it out. Take care, everyone.